The Book of the Prophet Ezekiel. Ezekiel's name means God strengthens. Ezekiel was exiled to Babylon along with 10,000 other high-ranking people in the second of 3 deportations that took place by the Babylonians against Judah. He lived in the land of Babylon near the Kibar River. He probably served in the Jerusalem temple before being deported and may have been in line to be a priest. His vision of God's portable throne in the land of Babylon is significant because it showed that God was not limited to his temple in Jerusalem. God would continue to be with his people in captivity and would never leave them. The first 3 chapters describe Ezekiel's call and commission. Ezekiel's first vision came to him at age 30. He was by the Kibar River in Babylon at the time, and he saw 4 dazzling beings resembling a lion, an eagle, a man, and an ox. They moved as the Spirit of God directed them. He also saw 4 dazzling wheels far up in the air that moved about like the beings. He then heard a voice and saw a radiant being on a throne, and Ezekiel fell on his face in God's presence, and God commissioned him to be a prophet. He was told he was being sent to a stubborn and rebellious house. At this point in the vision, Ezekiel eats a scroll, which contains a list of all the people's sins, with writing on both sides. The scroll tastes sweet as honey to Ezekiel. Ezekiel then visited and walked among the exiles at Tel Aviv, and God warns him that he will face many troubles. Tel Aviv means heap of ruins. Chapters 4 through 24 are made up of Ezekiel's oracles of judgment against Judah. He accompanies the oracles of chapters 4 through 5 with symbolic actions. First, Ezekiel lays on his side and stares at a brick for 430 days, and he draws a picture of the city of Jerusalem on the brick, and he builds little model ramparts and battering rams around it to symbolize the lengthy siege of Jerusalem. God tells him to cook his food over human excrement during this time, but Ezekiel requests cow dung instead, and God consents. After Ezekiel's 430-day object lesson with the brick, God told him to shave off his hair and to divide it into thirds. He burns 1/3 of his hair inside the model city, he stabs at 1/3 of the hair outside of the model city, and he throws 1/3 to the wind. God told him to save a tiny bit of hair that was left over. The different hairs represent the different people yet to be affected by the total destruction of Jerusalem. Chapters 6 through 7 describe a coming end to all abominations. God says through Ezekiel, "I will slay your people in front of your idols. The end has come. The end has come. The end has come. It has roused itself against you. See, it comes. Doom has come upon you who dwell in the land. The time has come. The day is near. There is panic, not joy on the mountains. I am about to pour out my wrath on you and spend my anger against you. I will judge you according to your conduct and repay you for all your detestable practices." Chapters 8 through 11 describe the departure of God's glory from Jerusalem. First, Ezekiel tells us about the idolatry taking place in the temple, and Ezekiel describes his vision, saying that a fiery man appeared to him, grabbed him by the hair, and transported him to Jerusalem. And they arrived at the temple and saw at the north entrance the place where the idol of jealousy stood. He also saw women mourning over the god Tammuz. They then enter the inner court and see 70 elders offering incense to crawling things, unclean animals, and idols. And he sees 25 men worshiping the sun with their backs to God's house. And God says to him, "Therefore I will deal with them in anger. I will not look on them with pity or spare them. Although they shout in my ears, I will not listen to them." And judgment is declared on the idolaters. And Ezekiel sees God's 7 angelic servants appear. 6 of them had weapons in hand, and the 7th carried a pen in his hand. Ezekiel then sees the glory of the Lord entering the threshold of the temple, and he sees the 7th of God's servants marking the foreheads of the faithful. The other 6 servants then destroy all who are without the mark. And Ezekiel then sees God's glory departing from the temple, and God orders cherubim to scatter burning coals all over the city, and smoke fills the outer court as God moves out. Ezekiel sees the glory of the Lord ascending from the temple with the cherubim and the wheels beneath it, as though they were transporting the throne of God. And Ezekiel realizes that God's judgment is sure to come on Jerusalem. The Spirit then transports Ezekiel to a gathering of corrupt officials, and Ezekiel prophesies to them, and when he does, one man drops dead. Ezekiel cries out and asks God if he plans to kill every last person in Israel, but God offers him the promise of Israel's return. "Although I sent them far away among the nations and scattered them among the countries, yet for a little while I have been a sanctuary for them in the countries where they have gone. I will gather you from the nations and bring you back from the countries where you have been scattered, and I will give you back the land of Israel again. I will give them an undivided heart and put a new spirit in them. I will remove from them their heart of stone and give them a heart of flesh. Then they will follow my decrees and be careful to keep my laws. They will be my people and I will be their God. But as for those whose hearts are devoted to their vile images and detestable idols, I will bring down on their own heads what they have done." The Spirit then transports Ezekiel back to the exiles in Babylon.